ESPN.com, and the TrueHoop network has listed its top 5 players in the NBA. No surprise, LeBron James is at 1, Kevin Durant at 2, Chris Paul 3, James Harden 4, and 5th is Russell Westbrook. We're putting ESPN.com on the hook. We asked this question. Stephen A. Smith, you have a lot of information on this. Does Kevin Durant belong at the 2 spot?
Yes, he does. Thought about it long and hard.
Okay.
I think here's the bottom line. Here's the biggest problem with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is playing around the same time as LeBron James. It's almost a shame. I had the pleasure of speaking with former, NBA coach, now an analyst for the family, PJ Carlissimo. We know what a great basketball mind he's been throughout the last several decades. It's an honor to always talk to him. And he brought that point up. Kevin Durant is surreal. He's big time. He's on another level. Matter of fact, he coached Kevin Durant's first year in the league. I just look at a guy like a Kevin Durant and his ability to score the ball. He's long. He's about 6'10", got a wingspan that makes him about 7'5", 7'6", can pull up from 30, can handle the rock. He's a scoring machine. He's had his lulls, no doubt, particularly adjusting to life in the postseason once Russell Westbrook went down, and we all saw how that panned out. But in the end, what it comes down to is that this dude is legit. He's a matchup problem defensively as well because he's so long in any of the first 3 positions, your point guard, shooting guard, small forward spot, he can defend those guys. Plus, he can defend power forwards, clearly not in the low post, but most other places on the court, so because he's so long. So when you consider what he brings, the professionalism, along with his surreal abilities offensively, I don't think it can be denied that he's the second best player in the game of basketball. You just wish he would be more assertive and more aggressive and not leave that particular element in his personality to a Russell Westbrook. But skill-wise and what he brings to the table, I think it's clear that Kevin Durant is number 2.
And I don't think it is, Stephen A. I also thought long and hard about this. And the harder I thought, the bigger the gap got between LeBron James at number 1 and whoever is number 2. It's a tough one, but it's a distant second. And you know what I keep bringing up, Stephen A., and the reason this sticks in my craw, the reason I can't give Kevin Durant the second slot is because of what he didn't do in the first round against the same Memphis Grizzlies who got swept by my Spurs. As you remember, the Thunder, without Russell Westbrook, lost 4 straight to the Memphis Grizzlies. And you know the numbers. I'm going to give them to you one more time. In those clutch time moments, the last 5 minutes of fourth quarters or overtimes in those 4 games, Kevin Durant really disappointed me. He went 2 for 15. He went 0 for 3 from 3. He missed 3 out of 5 free throws, which really shook me up because we know he's a 90% free throw shooter. So in 20 total minutes of clutch time, last 5 minutes of those 4 games, Kevin Durant, who used to be my favorite player, totaled 6 points. That's not good enough to me to rank second on this list.
The only thing that neutralizes Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. There's nobody that can stop Kevin Durant. There's nobody that can neutralize Kevin Durant. It's just that Kevin Durant doesn't mind deferring, doesn't mind leaning on somebody else. So it's a personality issue similar to what we accused LeBron James of having in the past. It wasn't about his abilities and what he couldn't do, and clearly that's the case with Kevin Durant because LeBron James was struggling with the perimeter shot. Ultimately, he improved his perimeter shots. He needs to improve on his free-throw shooting next, which I think he will do, and he has continued to do, to give him credit for that. But there's a process of elevation that has taken place with LeBron James as it pertains to his game. You look at Kevin Durant, there's nothing about his game that we look at and say this is a clear deficiency outside of his mental makeup, his unwillingness to be aggressive and to have that killer instincts. He's hit game-winning shots. He can pull up from 30, from 20. He can hit it from 10. He can roll. He can score on a fast break. He's shooting almost 90% from the free throw line. This boy doesn't have a weakness offensively outside of his skinny frame. That is about it. So when you look at a Kevin Durant and then you choose to pick the 4 games that he didn't didn't show up against Memphis. I choose to look at his career numbers. 26, 6, and 6 in the regular season on 47% shooting from the field, 37% shooting from three-point range. In the postseason is 28, 7, and 7 on 46% shooting. This dude is big time. Now, the issue, again, is the mental makeup when it comes to aggression. But in the end, what we're saying is what's holding Kevin Durant back is Kevin Durant in terms of his assertiveness. That's about it. And if that's the only thing that's holding you back, then to me, why should you play second fiddle to anyone outside of LeBron James?
Yeah.
Are you sure he's better than his little running buddy, Westbrook?
Yes, but his little running buddy, Westbrook, has a killer instinct. I'm just saying, if you have a killer, if you have the killer instinct, time out. Listen and learn. If you have a killer instinct, that doesn't make you better. It just means that you have the killer instinct. But it doesn't make you better. There's a lot of guys with a killer instinct, but it doesn't make them better. You weren't saying that when Russell Westbrook was hitting 42% from the field and Kevin Durant was shooting 51% from the field. You pointed to efficiency. So how do you then change the argument to an issue of killer instinct? We always knew that Russell Westbrook had more of a killer instinct than Kevin Durant. We just realized how profoundly needed it is come postseason time in order for Oklahoma City to get over the hump.